Okay, awesome. Well, great. My name is Arwin. I'm one of the co-founders at Rebolt. Rebolt is the all-in-one marketing kit for home service businesses powered by AI. Today we serve 1,300 plus home service businesses across every vertical in every geography within the states. My background, I went to UC Berkeley. I studied economics, former football player, got my master's in data science and AI, also worked in insurance as an ML engineer, and co-founded this business. Um, Really, the reason why we started Rebolt was I was coming out of the private equity space. I had saw firsthand how these owner operators worked when it came to their marketing needs. I also had like a really good touch on how to communicate with these owners. And my co-founder ran a digital marketing agency specifically aimed at home service businesses. And the problem that we saw was if you're a small business contractor and you want to get your marketing needs handled, on one end of the spectrum, you can go to an expensive agency, pay thousands of dollars, wait multiple weeks, and then finally maybe see a website that you like. On the other end of the spectrum, you've got the Wixes, the Squarespaces, the GoDaddies of the world. And as you probably imagine, SMB contractors, they're good at their trade. They're not very technical. With the advent of LLMs and AI, what we saw was that if you could take very basic information about a business, you could then prompt a model to create content for that business, and then you can put that content onto a website. And so, what we created originally was an AI-powered website builder for small business contractors to where they would give us very basic points of information. So, they would say, this is the name of my business, the services I provide, the cities that I do them in. Here's some basic branding. We had a builder that would build out the entire website, and we take that information, prompt the model would create bespoke content, and we put it onto the website. So we were able to deliver what would traditionally cost thousands of dollars for home service businesses in a matter of minutes and just a couple $100 at the same level of quality as the agencies would provide. And that's where we kind of came up with the inception for Rebolt and also how we came out to market. Excuse me. But as you can imagine, over time, being an early stage business, your strategy adapts. And when we started delivering websites to these folks, they wanted us to provide other services. Hey, can you post on my social media for me? Hey, can you help me with my Google business profile? And so what we did was we allowed the customer to kind of dictate our product strategy and our roadmap, and we listened to them intently and deeply and built for them. But we had the luxury of building AI first in every product that we built. So over time, we became this like all-in-one marketing kit powered by AI. So we were able to use AI to build a website. We use AI to post to their social medias. We used AI to help them with their Google business profile, help them gather reviews, et cetera, et cetera. Um, and so that's kind of where we're at today. And as I mentioned, we service all trades across the entire nation. Today, our team at Rebolt is 33 folks. We've got about 25 or so W-2 and then eight or so contractors. And I mean, there's tons of stories in between there that I could go into in detail. But one piece that I didn't go super deep on that I will here is we were incubated out of an early stage startup accelerator called Antler. All across the nation, there are tons of these accelerators where you bring together early stage founders and business owners to work on ideas. And we went into that program, and really, they don't have like a ton of structure. You just kind of like come together and you put yourself in a room with like-minded people, and then like really cool things come out of it. And we would do like we'd have a couple times a week we'd have fireside chats with like successful founders with I remember the founder of like Venmo came in. Some of these like larger players would come and you would really just like take pieces from different people and network and just like learn through osmosis is probably the best way that I put it. It was an 8 week program. That's where I actually met my current co-founder. We both came into the program working on different ideas. And we became such good friends that by the end of the program, we decided to pair up and then work on this idea. And that was the last thing I'll say there is for me going to the Antler program. it was a very last second decision. I had just applied to them. I had got in, and I actually wasn't going to do it, but I ended up saying, why not? And I booked a last minute flight to New York City, lived out there for 2 months, just about, or whatever it was, 6 weeks, in a really shoebox of an apartment, um, and made it work. So, yeah, probably one of the best decisions I made, but I guess I can pause there, Wayne.
Yeah, my daughter lives in Manhattan too, so I get the shoebox apartment, by the way.
Okay, there you go.
Um, she's an art student. No, that's good. And there's questions I have in there.
Hmm.
I mean, or observations. One thing I picked up on and heard you say is it's an AI first solution, meaning a lot. I think there's other digital marketing firms now, or maybe like you said, Wix or GoDaddy, and certainly they're all trying to keep up with AI, but they weren't AI first. So that's was interesting to me that everything in your world you started with that as opposed to
Hmm.
trying to adapt an existing model to then start using all the new technologies, right?
Exactly. Yeah, you hit the nail on the head. Like we have the luxury of building every product that we want with AI at the forefront, whereas like these incumbents, AI is like the bottom of the stack, and it's just something that they kind of tap onto the product. And then the end consumer doesn't get the full benefit of the actual, AI, right? Like with these large incumbents, it's usually just like a chatbot that might like sit on the platform that user is using. Whereas for us, we can create these like pretty in-depth, like agentic is what we call it, agentic workflows that like don't involve a lot of our customers' involvement, and only pieces where we need them to, they'll come in and help with the workflow. But more or less, we can build the workflow entirely automated with AI. And that's the edge that we have. And then also being early stage, we have the ability to move fast, right? It's like the classic, they say it in startups, like the dilemma between startups and incumbents is, can the incumbent get to innovation before the startup can get to distribution? Because we're able to move really fast, we
Good.
can innovate,
Yeah,
but we got to get to distribution before they can actually get to innovation. So,
that's cool. So I get excited about that right there because I work with uh, a lot of bootstrap companies or incumbents in some way. We hear phrases like that from like startup world, and that just
mhm.
gets the wheels turning. So
Yeah.
that can be really helpful. Um, with this work that you're doing, what is the price point? Like what kind of, and maybe just bracketed, not necessarily specific pricing on this product.
Yeah, so one of the unique insights that we had was like SMB owners are very much ROI focused. And when I say SMB, we're focused on solo operators to like 10 employees. And they're also price sensitive. And you can't like overcomplicate things too much. So we keep it very simple. It's just one package, 299 a month, no contracts, no setup fees. One of the early beliefs for us was like marketing agencies tie business owners down to contracts, because they don't have like a lot of faith in the work that they do. So we want to earn our stripes on a monthly basis. So yeah, right now it's 299 a month. We have a couple products soon to be rolled out that will be upsells on top of that, but to date it's just been 299.
So then on the distribution question or on your model, if it's 299 a month and you have 33 employees, that here comes Ari, I don't want to not pretend that you're here. And so part of your go-to-market strategy is, I mean, clearly people probably can come to your website and then they can enroll and sign up, and there's things to help them understand how to do it faster and how to do the work, right? And then Ari, you're helping sell by engaging with what I would call centers of influence, people who know your ideal customers in some way.
Yeah, I'd say there's a handful of partnership categories or opportunities that Arwin and myself find very interesting, both in the short term and longer term. Shorter term, Rebolt, as Arwin said, it's a year and a half old from a brand perspective, not super well known in the home services space. That's beginning to change just because of how quickly we're growing. But talking with consultants, business coaches, creators, influencers that specialize in the home services space. Those are the most accessible individuals right now at this stage, and that's where we're kind of our phase one is focused on. Uh, you know, once the CRM is launched and there's some other features that have come online, that's where product partnerships or integrated partnerships come into play, which is very interesting because it's kind of like a 1 + 1 = 3. So complementary technologies that will be able to basically speak to one another through different exposed API endpoints, providing solutions that Rebolt is not planning on building, like an accounting software, for instance, and and things like that. There's also some, my background is in home services. I think Wayne, coming from Jobber, so there's definitely some interesting, plays from that playbook that we're gonna probably rinse and repeat with that I know we're successful there. Just a matter of kind of time and scale, but ultimately, looking to find effective distribution channels outside of what our outbound sales engine is at the moment.
Exactly.
And when we do our virtual campfire, are you going to join us?
If you'll have me, I will be there.
Yeah, yeah. No, I think people find that to be really interesting because many of them are working with a salesperson on their team, and to see that dynamic is really useful. Um, so Arwin, what if somebody gets to if they build a website, they're using your full package, they're in that 1 to 10 employee range. What do you think happens if they do grow to a point where they're a rapid growth company and they want to get beyond that and they want to go to like 50 employees? What do they do with what do you think will happen?
Yeah, so I think generally with marketing needs in this space, what happens is like as you scale the business, as the business gets larger, you need more white glove service and touch for the digital marketing efforts. So then what ends up happening is they go to like a white glove agency, and that agency will really give them the tender love and care that they need on every little piece and portion of the marketing. So like they'll run their paid media for them. They'll shoot the content. They'll create all the assets. They'll make sure every little piece of the website is pristine. For us, we're giving this SMB contractor edge to have like these agency level websites, but they have to sacrifice a few things, right? Like we can't customize every little piece of the website. We can't create them content. We can't do all of their assets for them. So that said, we do have some larger clients that actually like our product a lot because it offers a ton at a reasonable price point. They don't need all of the TLC that these larger agencies provide. Um, but what's funny is we had a customer literally today. So they were with us when we first started the business. 6 months in, they left. They went to the largest agency in our space. After they were with that agency for a year, they're now returning to us because they were so upset with how things went, and they were paying 4 times the amount of what they were paying with us. So there's really cases for all of it. It just kind of depends. But generally speaking, as the businesses get larger in our space, they need more white glove service.
It's great. So I'm looking forward to having you two as a guest. And last question is, if there's somebody who is in a home service business and they're in that ideal space, 1 to 10 employees, and you were to say to them, here's why you should come join us for an open conversation, because that's what virtual campfire is, an open conversation where you are sharing some things about your journey and about Rebolt and how it helps people, but also those in attendance are able to ask questions, and they're the ones through their questions that really create that conversation. So, like, why should one of these businesses come join us at this campfire?
Yeah. I would say, couple angles. One is like obviously there's light to be shed on if these owners are in the trades, there's light to be shed on like what they should actually do from a marketing perspective. I know that's not the goal here. Um, but furthermore, like we've gone through the process over the year and a half of building something from literally like nothing, like having literally no product to now having 1,300 businesses and 33 employees. And then there's like so much in between there of like building out the sales process. How do you set up the SOPs for that? Then the customer success. How do you properly onboard folks? Then how do you support those folks? And like, how do you hire? How do you fire? How do you train? How do you provide a effective enough service? All of those different things, dependent on the question that the audience asks, we can go really deep on. So it's like apples to oranges, but I think like building a business more generally, you're gonna go through a lot of these trials and tribulations that we probably went through over the past year and a half, and I think the owners in the room will get some benefit out of that. And then if they're in the trades, it's added because, we'll be able to share a little bit more about what they should do on the marketing side to help them get more business.
Just to add
Yeah,
on
well,
to
go ahead,
that
Ari.
one, sorry, Wayne. Um, I think the team that Arwin has cultivated is quite unique in the sense that a lot of the people that have joined Rebolt in the last 6 months, uh, at least on the senior leadership side, these are people who have come from, what would be called kind of the big boys, the jobbers of the world, the SpaceXs of the world, massive conglomerates that, are going in one direction, which is only up, some very close to IPOing, and have jumped ship because of the opportunity at hand. So it gives a kind of a very, I would argue, unique perspective of, what those large, massive organizations, how they run versus going right back to square one and being able to apply some of that knowledge into this kind of an infrastructure.
Got it. That is good. Perfect. Yeah, and then we'll certainly I have access to the videos on the demonstrations of how the websites are built, and if when we do this, you should definitely share a little bit of your screen if there's something that's applicable to be able to say this is how it works, and people always want to know what's the next step for how to work with you, and sometimes when you do things like this, people say we don't want you selling too much or whatever. And I actually believe that making it very clear to people how they could buy is important, like because your program will help the right person. So don't be afraid to say go to this link or do this thing and get signed up. That's okay too.
Awesome. Awesome. Yeah,
Okay,
that sounds great.
great. We'll see you in a few weeks then for virtual campfire. Thanks for spending some time with me today.
Yes, definitely. All right,
Thanks
Wayne,
a lot,
great to
Wayne.
connect.